reading a story together. All right, scholars. So, I just love reading books. When I say go, I want you to show me a silent thumbs up or a thumbs down tight to your chest if you like reading too. Go. Hands back and start. Wow, I'm so excited that so many scholars enjoy reading too. Books can teach us things, scholars. They can make us laugh, or they can just entertain us. The books that we love to read are written by someone. Scholars. The person who writes the words is the author. Let's say that together. I'm going to say part of it, and then when I point to you, I want you to finish the statement. So I'm going to say it first, and then we're going to try that, okay? The person who writes the words is the author. The person who writes the words is the author. Good job, you got it, scholars. So, scholars, we can find out who the author is by looking at the front cover of the text. Let's review the parts of the book while we look for the author. So, scholars, this is the story we're reading today. This is the front cover. This is the back cover. This is the spine. The spine holds the book together. Let's look back at our front cover. Our front cover has a lot of information on it, scholars, like this part. This is called the title. The title is the name of the book, and the title of this book is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. This is a really fun story. I can't wait to start reading it with you guys. But first, we need to look at other stuff on the front cover as well. If we look down here, we can find the author. This is the author. The author wrote the book. There are authors who wrote this book. There are two. The authors of this book are Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault. All right, scholars. Below the author, we can find the illustrator, or the person who drew the pictures. This book is illustrated by Louis Ehlert. So, scholars, now that we know who the author and the illustrator are of the story and what they do, we can start reading. So, scholars, on the front cover, I see the author's names, I see the title, and I see a picture. The picture on the front of this story is a tree. Scholars, as we read today, I want you to think about what the author's job is and how they help readers understand the story. Okay, let's get started. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault. Illustrated by Louis Ehlert. Let's get started. A told B and B told C, I'll meet you at the top of the coconut tree. Whee! Said D to EFG, I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. Ooh, scholars. As I'm reading, I'm thinking about what the words the authors wrote. I can tell that the authors want us to think about letters climbing up a coconut tree. And I know this because when I read this story, the authors wrote, Wee, said D to EFG, I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. The letters are racing up the tree, scholars. The words that the author wrote helped me understand what's happening in the story and in the pictures. Let's keep reading. Chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room? Here comes H to the coconut tree. And I and J and Tagalong K all on their way up the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room? Look who's coming, LMNOP. And QRS and TUV. Still more, W and XYZ. Scholars, as I'm thinking about what the author wrote on the page. The authors told us that the more letters are climbing up the tree. It looks like a lot of letters are climbing up the coconut tree, scholars. On this page, the author wrote still more, W and XYZ. Scholars, we're at the end of the alphabet. So the author's words are helping us understand that all the letters have climbed up the coconut tree. Let's keep reading to find out what happens. Ooh, the whole alphabet up the... Oh no. Let's keep reading. Chicka chicka boom boom. Scholars, look at the page. Let's look at the words in the picture. What happened on this page? If you know, raise your hand up as tall as you can, straight vertical, and your teachers will ask you to share. Teachers, go ahead and pause the video. Scholars, you're right. The author's words are chicka chicka boom boom. And when there is a boom, that means something fell. And if I look at the pictures, all the letters fell out of the tree. Wow, let's keep reading. Skit scat scoodle doo, flip flop flee. Everybody run into the coconut tree. Mamas and papas and uncles and aunts hug their little dears and then dust their pants. Help us up, cried ABC. Next from the pile up, skinny D and stub-toed E and patched up F, then comes G, all out of breath. H is tangled up with I, J and K are about to cry. L is knotted like a tie. Scholars, the author wrote J and K are about to cry. Look at the picture. How do you know? If you know the answer to this question, raise your hand and your teacher will ask you to share. Teachers, go ahead and pause the video. Scholars, you're right. J and K are about to cry because they fell from the coconut tree and it might have hurt falling from the tree. And if you look at the pictures show tears next to J and K. And I know that tears fall when someone cries. So the words worked with the pictures to tell us and show us what was happening. Let's keep reading. M is looped, N is stooped, O is twisted, alley-oop. Skit, scat, scoodle-doo, flip-flop, flee. Look who's coming, it's Black-Eyed P, QRS, and Loose Tooth T. Scholars, who is telling us about P, Q, R, S, and T on this page? Who's telling us about them? Raise your hand if you know. Teachers, go ahead and pause. Scholars are right. The author is telling us about P, Q, R, S, and T. Now that we know who's telling us about those letters, What are the authors telling us about those letters, scholars? Let me read those words one more time. Look who's coming. It's black-eyed P, QRS, and loose-toothed T. Think about it. What are the authors telling us about these letters? If you know, raise your hand and then your teacher will ask you to share. Teachers, go ahead and pause the video. Scholars are right. The authors are telling us that the letters were hurt when they fell from the coconut tree. Alright, let's keep reading our story. Then UVW wiggle jiggle free. Last to come XYZ, and then the sun goes down on the coconut tree. But chicka chicka boom boom. Look, there's a full moon. A is out of bed, and this is what he said. Dare, double dare, you can't catch me. I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom. All right, scholars, it looks like that's the end of our story. What a fun story. So scholars, I have one more question for you. This is our accumulating question. So teachers, I'll say the question and then you can ask your scholars after you pause the video or after you stop the video. So my accumulating question for you guys today is, what does the author do and what does the illustrator do? Think about it. All right, scholars, your teacher is going to ask you this question and you guys can talk about it with your teachers. That's all that we're reading today. I had so much fun reading with you guys today, and I can't wait to read with you tomorrow. Bye, scholars.